Hello again, Miss Hirschberger, and anyone else who might be watching. Uh, I've been thinking about doing this for a while. I wasn't sure if I was ready, but you said to share, so this week I decided this would be my first public video. So, for anyone else who's watching this, I am sorry I am not very good at this. Anyway, I guess first thing I wanted to say was the one you talked about, Never Ending Nightmare. Actually sounds real interesting to me. I'd love to see someone else's take on anxiety and depression. I figured that would really be interesting, or either that, or it would just send me down into a really deep dark hole. Um, anyway, as for games I played, I'm more of a casual gamer. I don't really have a computer. I do, but it's so old. It's about as powerful as my Commodore 16 at this point. So a couple of what I think are smaller games I've played recently. There's the game Life is Strange, which I know has been, I guess, distributed by Square Enix, which is a big company, but it was made by a smaller company. It's an episodic game, kind of like the Telltale games like Walking Dead. Uh, and there's a feeling that your choices matter more than I felt in the Walking Dead games. Uh, and it's basically about a high school girl who goes to a private gets a scholarship to a private high school for photography. So that's the high school drama, but also there's a story involving a missing girl, and if all that doesn't get you, she has the power to reverse time. So I found that interesting. Uh, the other one is Lifeless Planet. Uh, it's a little slow moving, but I think the story is kind of interesting. Uh, I guess these astronauts are supposed to go to a planet that's full of life, and they crash land there. So you're the only one who survives, and it's pretty much barren until you come across this empty town, which turns out to be a like a Cold War era Soviet town. So it's interesting to find out what's going on and explore the town. So that's two current ones. Now if I go a little bit old school, the first console I ever bought, uh, well, most people had the Super NES or the Sega Genesis. I went out and bought the, for those who, TurboGrafx 16, right? Uh, as the only person I've known who's actually had that system. Uh, I did end up having to buy a Genesis 2 because there just weren't enough games because the system didn't sell well enough. Although I still think it was a better system. Two games I want to mention from that. One is Utopia. Uh, Actually, it's like a blatant Legend of Zelda ripoff. But I love the original Legend of Zelda. You know, it was at the time next generation graphics, so I had a lot of fun playing that. And then the other one that is a little odd is this game, World Court Tennis. You might think tennis game. What's odd about that? Big deal. While it has your typical, singles, doubles type matches, and we won't get into my notebook full of ranking systems of my own special tournaments and stuff. But instead of a career mode, it had a quest mode, which I can only describe as an open world RPG tennis game. Uh, Basically, you would go around this world, and you would have random battles with people, which would be like tennis matches. Usually, I think usually they were games, kind of in the form of Final Fantasies, where it just pops up, uh, and if you won, you got money. If you lost, you got set back to the starting point. Uh, and but as you win more matches, you get money and you can buy better equipment to improve your game. So sneakers, so you're faster and whatever. And then there would be certain towns, and there would be your, I guess, mini bosses. And remember, there was a raft or a tube you could win, so you could go across water. And with water, there was no random challenges. Uh, but you'd also get, I think it was 6 mini bosses, and I think each one would give you a pearl. And if you collected all the pearls, you got this. I think it was a super heavy ball. And the final boss was the evil tennis king who had taken control over the land. And you would challenge him, and if you had this ball, it would slow down his serve, which was like really fast. Although I did actually find out you could beat him without it, and and if you beat him, you freed the land from the evil tennis king. I don't know how someone takes over a land in tennis, but that's that was the basic story of the game, and I just think it was a real interesting concept, a weird mix of different genres, I guess. Who would expect an RPG tennis game? So there are a couple of my smaller games. Well, thanks for listening, and goodbye.